Tuesday afternoon, almost 1:30. It's a little bit later than usual. Um, been doing some classwork. As I've mentioned before, that I am getting my yoga teaching um, certification, specifically teaching Hatha Yoga, classical Hatha Yoga, which I've put off for a long time. Been a certified meditation teacher, and I'm a certified breath coach. I love teaching both, especially meditation, although the practical aspects of breath work, teaching breath work, um, are absolutely amazing. It's a way of changing your physiology in a moment, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. It's a way of changing your emotional well-being almost instantly. Few breaths. So it's a beautiful practice. Meditation, everyone should meditate, my opinion. Um, there's probably some where sitting meditation might not be the best thing, but there's always a form of meditation, from walking to even simply sitting, letting life take its course. The Franz Kafka um, statement that we don't have to do anything but sit and allow, and we don't even have to do that. Just sit. Life takes care of itself. That's meditation. You could also just sit in savasana, corpse pose. Practice a few mindful breaths. That's the basis for classical Hatha Yoga, which is a asana, a pose, alternated. You do a few poses, and then you do savasana, or child's pose, and you allow the restfulness to take hold, so that the yoga works on a deeply physiological as well as emotional level. That could be just doing that motion of yoga. Could be your meditation practice. And again, specifically savasana, which is the corpse pose, just laying, following the easy breath. Easy breath in yoga is breathing from the belly, nostril breathing. Nice. Again, I was going to say nice and easy, hence the name, easy breath. You can put your left hand on your belly, your right hand on your chest, breathing through the nose. Fill the belly, which it'll do naturally. Should come from the lower belly. Your chest shouldn't be moving, or barely moving, if at all. That's the easy breath. Now the full yogic breath, these are the bare basics of pranayama. The full yoga breath, we're doing the same thing. We're filling the lower belly with air, and then we're moving into the chest, filling that with air, and then we move into the throat, filling that entire cavity with air, and then we reverse the order from the throat, the chest, the belly. Exhale. Full breath. One yogic breath. Meditation completely on its own. Don't have to do anything but breathe. Now we can take that and go in so many different directions. You can do that easy breath in the supermarket, just practicing when you're in line in the bank, in a traffic jam. It doesn't have to be complicated. That's the essence of meditation, just following that breath. And again, for those who don't want to take the time to actually do sitting meditation, pranayama, breath work, and there's so many avenues of working with the breath. We can change our physiology. We can change our emotional state. Just a few breaths. It's an amazing practice. What else can you do short of taking a drug? And even a drug probably takes longer than working with the breath, where I can instantly bring my heart rate down. I can lower my blood pressure. I can change from the reactive state of sympathetic nervous state into a parasympathetic state, into a more responsive state easily. I can go into a business meeting. Let me state, for clarity, for truthfulness, satya, and the yamas, I don't go to business meetings. I have no business being in a business meeting. It ain't gonna happen. Maybe someday. Who knows? I don't own business meeting clothes. So if anyone's going to invite me to a business meeting, give me lots of heads up. One, so I can earn some money to buy some business clothes. And two, so I can just mentally get in that state. However, if I were to go to a business meeting and I was nervous, or I'm going to present an idea, whatever type of nerves, I remember doing poetry readings and being so nervous that I couldn't hold paper in my hand. My hand was shaking so bad. Now I could do pranayama practice, relax, and go in nice and easy. I might still be nervous, but I've changed my emotional state. I've changed my physiology. I'm no longer in that hyped up sense of reaction, in that sympathetic nervous state. I've changed it. Just a few breaths. Absolutely amazing practice. Easy to learn. You do it a couple times a day, just for general health. You can do it certain breaths before you warm up, before you exercise, or to help you wake up in the morning. And then you can do certain breaths in the evening to help you calm down and prepare you for sleep, or therapeutically for the day. Again, if you need to just calm down before you meet with your boss, or, whatever situation. I wrote this morning in my blog about teaching yoga. It's funny, I'm taking a yoga certification course, teacher's course, after literally decades, more than half my life, way more than half my life of practicing yoga. And I still don't want to teach. Not in a studio. I don't want to instruct. I don't want to stand up and say, now do this pose and do this pose and do this pose. Rest, breathe, whatever. What I want to do is teach people how to do yoga so that they can do yoga, so they don't need me. Although I'm always here. Questions, whatever. I always tell people I'm really not a teacher. I'm not here to teach anything. I'm exploring a path. So to explore the path and help other people explore along with me, it's helpful that I work with the alignment of each pose, each posture. I am steeped in yogic philosophy. I'm not an expert, but I've studied it my entire life, as well as yogic psychology. Again, I'm not an expert. I am not an expert on anything, not even teaching meditation, although again, or breath work, although again, I am a teacher. You never have that expert. Stick with Suzuki Roshi's saying, Zen mind, beginner's mind. Or is it the other way around? Beginner's mind, Zen mind. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So I don't want to be that yoga instructor. I don't want to teach classes. I want to talk to whoever wants to explore their own path of yoga and offer what I've learned, one, from my experience practicing, two, from my teacher certification class. I wish I could have found a certification program. It doesn't even need to be a certification program. Just a deep immersion into the practice. The best way to hit that, to reach that state of immersion, is to learn to teach. But I wish the emphasis wasn't on teaching a class, which I'm not going to do. I can say that with a certain amount of conviction, because I just don't want to. I don't want that to be part of my life. Now, there might come a point when I need a job. It's good to have something like that in your back pocket. But you know what? I'd rather wash dishes than do a teacher yoga class. Doesn't mean I don't want to teach yoga. But again, what I want to do is teach people how they can do yoga. That you can take this basic practice of waking up in the morning, doing some breath work, meditating, and then doing a series of poses to help you open up the energy channels, start your day. And then you practice the yamas and the yamas, again, which are the ethical principles, the foundation that yoga is built upon. You have your own personal conduct, and then you have that working within society as a whole. So the yamas, the 5, you have non-harmfulness, you have truthfulness, you have non-stealing, you have conserving your energy, or having guidelines for your energy. And you have, some would say, practicing moderation. And then you have generosity, or non-hoarding. Those are the 5 yamas. All of them have these deeper aspects, and I've talked about them in the last 5 talks that I've given. The niyamas, we're working with in a social whole, with our neighbors, with our community, with our country. If you ever read the Tao Te Ching, it's a highly political book. I mean, it talks about allowing life to be expressed, allowing ourselves to be expressed as the way, as life. Of course, the Tao means the way. If we could base our politics on the Tao, we would be so much better off. If we could base our policies on the niyamas, how we interact with people, we would be better off. Be a friendlier world. Possible, but we need to practice. That's the thing. That's the Maharishi effect. Maharishi Yogi, founder of Transcendental Meditation, believed that if 10% of any given population meditated, then the full community partook in the well-beingness, that the peacefulness that meditation produced. Science seems to be bearing that out somewhat. Maybe not 100% yet. Maybe it's not even true. Here's the thing. You're happier. You will be happier when you meditate. If you're happier, you're going to have an effect on other people. They're going to be happier in your presence. And on and on and on. We've created the ripple effect. That is the way of weird. W-Y-R-D. The original intent of the word, which just means web. Interactive web. You tug on a strand and the entire web vibrates. Something in the far corner of the web vibrates, we vibrate along with it. So we're careful what we put out there. Doesn't mean that we're always in this positive state of mind, that we're always given these, no negativity. What it means is that we are practicing the way of joyfulness, the way of being, the way of bliss. Not forcing away anything. We're not disallowing any specific thought. We don't push aside negativity. We allow it. And we act as a alchemical process, taking that lead weight of negativity that happens in any aspect of life, because it's part of life. And yet, through the process of meditation, through the process of breath work, through the process of yoga, yamas and niyamas, the Tao, we're alchemists. And we change it into gold. And with that, we affect the entire world. We've tugged on that strand, and the entire web of weird has vibrated. Amazing. I see that in my own life by coming into contact with people who have that power. They've spent years in deep meditation and just getting close. If you ever have an opportunity to go see Amma, the hugging saint, I have not, but I have friends who have. And they said it's just, you're sinking into bliss when she hugs you. You enter such a higher state of consciousness, nothing else is there except that hug. There's no you, there's no ama, there's just that hug, enveloped in love. I thought about going to see her, and then COVID. I don't want to accidentally give the hugging saint COVID, and I certainly don't want to catch COVID from the hugging saint. She hugs millions of people through the course of a year, literally, tirelessly. I don't know what she did during COVID. If she gave it a rest or not. The niyamas, 5 of them, just like the yamas. Purity, contentment, austerity. I love saying that word because it seems like it would be difficult for me to say austerity, and yet I go ahead and I say it. But I'm not going to take any more chances right now. Self-study, surrender. All of them have these deeper aspects, just like the yamas. Sacha, purity. Sakha, almost positive, I pronounced it wrong. 30 years of pronouncing Sanskrit words, and I'm no better at it than the first time I ever attempted, even if I've said it correctly in the past. I don't know. Sanskrit's a wonderful language. You can see where I'm going off course a little bit. It's a language of vibrations. That's why in primordial sound meditation, which is the meditation that I teach, your mantra is a vibration. It has no meaning. We're meditating on the vibration itself. You don't want it to have meaning because then you're playing word association in your head. You're meditating on the word love. Beautiful concept. But then you start thinking of all the people you love. You start thinking about your first love. You start thinking about how your first love broke up with you. You start thinking about, I wonder if she's on Facebook. You start thinking, as soon as I'm done meditating, I'm going to look her up on Facebook and maybe we'll reconnect. Maybe that spark is still there. Maybe she's realized after 45 years or so that she made a horrible mistake breaking up with me. And now she's ready. Now's the time. Shit. I'm supposed to be meditating. Come back to love. With a vibration, you're still going to lose that train of thought. But it's not going to come from branching out like that. You come back to the mantra, you come back to the vibration. And the vibration is the vibration of the universe that you're meditating on. The very exact moment that you were born, that you came into manifest existence from the unmanifest existence. So, I was talking about Sanskrit. The beauty of Sanskrit, based on a vibration, don't get me started on vibrations again. It holds the essence of what it is. If you have the Sanskrit word for apple, it literally contains the vibratory aspect of an apple. You can experience appleness. Not the taste, not the touch, not the feel, the essence, the purity of an apple. It's funny that I said purity because Sakha, I believe. One day I'm going to have a Sanskrit pronunciation guide on Google where I put the word in and it says, say this. And I won't even say it. I'll allow Google to say it for me. That will show everyone who makes fun of me for not being able to pronounce the Sanskrit words. But as I've admitted before, I'm actually a yogi that cannot do the full lotus. So go figure. I'm not the bendiest yogi by far. I do practice the asanas, and again, I will be teaching the asanas. I've done the asanas since I was a kid. And some I do very well, some I do so-so, some I do horribly. But I work on it. And I have the practice that works for me. I don't need to be the bendiest. I just need to be that open channel for energy. Back to Sakha, which means purity. That is the very first niyama. And by purity, cleanliness of ourselves, but more than just the body, although that's important. Cleanliness of thought. How purified are our thoughts? That doesn't mean not having negative thoughts, not having sexual thoughts. It doesn't mean controlling our thoughts whatsoever. It just means being aware of our thoughts. Purity is nothing less than awareness, because awareness holds everything. Awareness is purity because it is the allowance of everything. It's from everything that springs from. Everything appears within awareness, and yet it is always untouched, untainted. Why does that always sound like a dirty word? Always untainted by whatever that which appears within awareness. So much so that it's seamless. That which appears within awareness is awareness itself. Absolutely amazing. You know what that means? This body is awareness. This desk is awareness. These thoughts are awareness. Me, I'm awareness. Takes the pressure off of those thoughts. You don't need to control them. You can't control them. Tell me what your next thought's going to be. So, you can see how deep purity gets. And as I've been saying the past few days, the deeper it gets, the deeper it is. Just meaning that it's endless, it's infinite. We can take this down the rabbit hole so far that even rabbits are looking down and going, what the hell, man? That's how deep it gets. So, purity, cleanliness, being clean, basically being a good person to the best of our ability. Not always an easy task, sort of. I think our own innate goodness shines through when we allow it, but we judge ourselves. And then when we keep judging ourselves, we act. We have that, we dug that, as I mentioned yesterday, the Samkaras. We dug that groove so deep by identifying with these particular thoughts that we can't help but act upon them, because that's the trigger point now. That groove, that emotional groove, is now the trigger point. What we think about, we become, but only if we dwell on it to the point where we believe that we are our thoughts, instead of thoughts just appearing within awareness. Once we have that realization, everything's awareness, thoughts appear within awareness, we can relax. We're not in control. We never were in control, and we don't have to be in control. As awareness, that's just life. Us, participants in, as, and of life. Hi guys, that was the first niyama. It took me a really long time. How long was this talk? 23 minutes? It took me a really long time to get there. That was the basis of this talk. A long winding road leading here, and I'm saying goodbye. So, I've mentioned before, if anyone wants to learn meditation, let me know. If anyone wants to do some breath work, let me know. If anyone has any questions about any of this stuff, I promise you I won't have an answer, but we can explore it together in a conversation. So just let me know. Leave a comment in any of this stuff. That's it for today. I will be back tomorrow for some type of burpee. I don't know what kind. It's supposed to be a mixed session. It's supposed to be a recovery session. It's never a recovery session. I don't know why. I think because I'm doing less burpees that, I throw in some dips, I throw in my pull-ups. It's supposed to be a pull-up eccentric day, more or less. Anything but a shit ton of burpees. And then I always end up doing a shit ton of burpees plus a shit ton of pull-ups and a whole lot of dips. Today I did, speaking of shit tons, I did a shit ton of Navy SEALs. 220 something, 224, I think. So I'll be paying for that tomorrow. Happily so, because I worked for it. But it does mean I need to think about my workout and try to be smart about it. You guys can remind me about that. Hey, be smart. Eric, for a change. I'd appreciate that. I won't listen to you, but I'll appreciate it. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for joining me. You all have a good day. Take care.